we always have this great debate as whether it's a reader, viewer, customer, user, because if you're an author or storyteller in print, you're talking about what people are reading on a page or on a screen, versus if it's video, it's what you see on a screen, or a photograph, what you see on a screen, or print. And so just to mess your interview all up, I do think that people read photographs. They process the information that they see in the same way that people read sentences. What do they begin with? Symbols. Symbols are letters. They put those letters together to make meaning, the words, and then sentences, paragraphs that builds us in the broader narrative. And so it begins with an appreciation for visuals. And so, when I talk about stories and the ultimate end result, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. In a very similar way, meaning is in the mind of the consumer. And I use that not in a materialistic way, but the recipient who processes that information and then makes some determination about how they will use that visual information that comes to them for our argument here, or our purposes, as a story. And so engagement and empathy are really relevant concepts for us to introduce to our what I call our purpose palette. Why are we doing this? What's our mission? It's not only to visually stimulate, which is one of the things that oftentimes in publications people say, well, a photograph stops the reader, and yes, stops the reader, and engages their imagination and draws them in. And if they're interested, they will read more. They will explore more for videos or graphics or other forms of information for delivery. And I think to stop and just remember that, or more importantly, appreciate that in this new world space of storytelling is a powerful tool. So in terms of restorative narratives, I think it's an opportunity for us to go deeper in the sophistication of the kinds of storytelling that we share, whether that's in conflict zones or poverty zones or impoverished communities, in places where we're talking about the environment and global warming. That there are places, there are issues on the planet that need to be restored, rebuilt, replenished, and renewed. And those stories require individuals, authors who are willing to go deeper than just the surface response action. You see more locations and platforms for that kind of storytelling that's happening both in mainstream media and through alternative press publications and independent publishing. So people are telling their own stories in major ways, and at the end of the day, they're all with a common goal and purpose of exposing and drawing attention to a wider audience. Much like great photographers that I've interviewed, and when I was a practitioner regularly, my goal wasn't that I would change the world, but through my photographs I could expose things that needed to be changed to the people who could do that. And yes, it was a great privilege to be the eyes of a community, which is why, in the words of a great photographer, Ricardo Ferra, I was the eyes of the community and I couldn't afford to blink. I had to stay focused because I represented people who couldn't be where I was able to have access, but needed to know and depended on that vicarious storytelling.